What is that that say? Oh, it's say live now.
I believe.
Say you're live now. Oh, you gone out again, bro. Oh, go on now. Are
Yes,
you the
greetings,
log? Are
people.
you?
Yeah, yeah, we're live. Greetings, people. This is a presentation from our Nations Learning Institute. Um, I hope you all been good. Hope you all been staying healthy and alive. It's good to be on here. I haven't been on here for a while. So the discussion of today would be about the new book. Well, the follow-up version of Volume One of Just Tools of a Freeman, Volume Two. Uh, it's now currently available on Amazon, um, both Kindle and paperback. Okay, so you could go ahead on Amazon there. I leave the links in the description, and you could. I wanted to do a screen share, but unfortunately, I'm having so much technical difficulties already as it is. Um, and of course, on the panel here with me, I have Brother Dartman X. Um, so pretty much, we are just in the discussion of the book and, a bit more in terms of our identity and what we need to do as a people and be serious about our identity, because it's a key thing in terms of going forward and conducting business in this ever so evolving situation, in on this planet. I believe the people, each ethnic group must properly identify themselves, regardless of what corporate construct they have developed for us to take our identity away from us, right? So this is on the topic of discussion today. This is what the book is really about, is in terms of helping you all to have a better understanding of um, conducting yourself whenever encountered with certain situations in terms of the legal system. But yeah, but there's more to life also. Life is a vast, very profound thing. Profound thing. You can't just focus on just paperwork. You have to live as well. And I've learned that over the years that the paperwork is one aspect of a small thing, but the whole thing is knowing who you are and um, embracing it. You know what I'm saying? So that's the key here. Knowing who you are and embracing it and not be ashamed to identify as who you are and move forward in this world, or this on this earth, with God on this matrix plane we call earth. And within that matrix plane is another matrix we call government or third world or first world, all these misclassified things, but so the book was published officially available since yesterday. It went live on Amazon. Of course, with the help of Brother Harmonix, yes, with the presentation was of the book, the cover, brother with the brother helping us out over here at the institute. Um, you know, it's a lot. We get a lot accomplished and done. I mean, two books within 1 year is not too bad, right? Not too bad. We'd like to do more literature, of course. Um, because this is how we demonstrate what we need to do. Instead of just talking about things, we are actually doing the thing we need to do. And this is one step forward in we need to more approach the intellectual side of things for our children, so they have some kind of foundation to stand on, if you know what I mean. So we are actually doing the things that we talk about instead of just talking about it constantly with no action behind it. So the book, the information in the book, it being available on a platform such as Amazon. Of course, it helps to widen the spectrum of how far when our people come together and decide we're going to do this thing, how far our, we can really, far and wide we can reach different ethnic people, right? So we as the indigenous people of the Americas, we decided that it's our obligation or responsibility to have these reading material available to the public, whether it's for donation or whether it's for some cost. Of course, time, when you put time to something, you need some kind of compensation so you can keep the development going, right? And with every nation, you have to have some kind of reciprocity, if you know what reciprocate. Some reciprocation have to be going in terms of you give and take, because that's the law of reciprocity, right? Reciprocate. That's a part of the US as well. In this so-called society we live in right now, of course, the reciprocation is going to be in the form of what you call military or notes or fiat dollars. Okay, so with that fiat dollar, we're going to transmute it into something spectacular and more wide-reaching and far and wide, right? Or the credit account, right? Instead of saying fiat dollar, we get something, we use those credits and build our nation, because that's all this imaginary matrix have to offer us. They have nothing of intrinsic value. It's just credits on account, right? Nothing intrinsic. So we're gonna use that magical monetary system and develop our own nations and thrive the way we should be thriving economically, and then it's gonna boil down to the physical reality of having enough land so our people can have somewhere of comfort to put their head. Don't have to worry about being out in these societies that were created absolutely to hate them. So that's just my take on what this book is about, pretty much. And it's a purpose. Go ahead, Marcus. You have something to say? Go ahead.
Yeah. Greetings, everyone. Let me say peace, love, light to you all, and welcome to all that is tuning in to this broadcast. Because we must stay tuned in to what is going on in the world around us and within our environment. Like our brother said, part two, volume two of Just Tools of a Free Man is out now on paperback and on Kindle. Um, you know, part three is also coming soon as well. Uh, these books are being put out there so that it can be broken down in simplest form for a lot of our uh, um, younger generation also, and just people out there to understand contracts and laws and self-identifying and the importance of nationality and these things. Uh, you must remember one of the key things that you inherit at birth through bloodline is a name. We're not talking about the name that your mother gave you. We're talking about that family name, that clan name, that house name. Okay? And throughout history, indigenous people have been attacked for their identity. And you must understand that the game that has been played here is to get you to turn against who you are, to get you to claim everything else outside of who you are, while those who are replacing you are taking your names. Okay? And this is a structure that has been organized by an explicit group of families throughout generations. And they're still doing it. And when you have the minority that has the tools that can control the mindset of the majority, you understand? For generations on top of generations, and even more generations to come, you must figure out a way to counteract what these people are doing. And one of the things that we are doing is releasing these books to try to wake the people up, to edify your minds so that you can start learning and understanding what has been happening around you. We have a lot of brothers and sisters that are coming out speaking up on a lot of things. Some of these folks are celebrities. Some of these folks are supposed activists and activists. Um, Not saying that everything that they're saying they're 100% right, but uh, for me, I take what I can take from the information, and I disregard what I know at the level of knowledge where I'm at to be false, right? I'm not. For example, look at Kanye or Ye, as he calls himself now. A lot of people don't get why he changed his stuff to Ye and took away the Kanye and no longer call himself Kanye West. He don't own that name. You understand? That name is owned and through contracts by the corporation. So every time he uses that name is empowering and making money for the corporation, the very same people that turns around and oppress you. So his name is changed to Ye. You get it? This goes back into what we also call um, the straw man. That fictional character that the corporations created so that they can have control or capture um, your essence. Okay, because you have to pour energy into that straw man, unknown to you. You have to go out and claim that straw man in a manner of where you are ignorant. And I'm not saying ignorant as if you just be like, oh, nigga this and nigga that. I'm saying ignorant as in you have the lack of knowledge on how to maneuver and operate with the straw man name. So you take on all forms of debts. You join all forms of contracts unknown to you, and these people know this, and they use the straw man to capture the living man's body and lock you up, imprison you, whether it be in a privatized prison or whether it be in their public school system. Okay, so um, this book is released. These volumes are released to wake the people up. Um, but the core basic of knowing this information is that one must know their self. Okay, you must know who you are. Must understand who you are and what that means to you here as indigenous people um, of America, in America, okay? And what your ancestors are and were to this land here, and the power that it brings when you identify as your proper nationality. All right, people, there's a lot going on in this world, man. Even today, me and our brother was on the Library of Congress, and it just so happens that the NIDS, uh, the NIDS identification card process came up on the United States Library of Congress, and they were breaking down that it's 68 million US that has been invested into this program that is supposed to be voluntary. I want y'all to pay attention because I mentioned Kanye for a reason. You see how all the banks started turning down Kanye, all the companies, the corporations started blackballing him, blacklisting him. Well, even with the Jamaica Corporation, NIDS is supposed to be something that is voluntary, that the people are supposed to volunteer if they so choose to want to be a part of it. But what the government of Jamaica, the corporate government of Jamaica is doing, they've teamed with the banks to deny access to anyone who does not have a NIDS identification card. That is against the law. Now, if you come back here to the mainland, it is the same thing that you're seeing being done to Kanye. And what you're seeing being done to Kanye is what is coming for the masses in the future that don't understand what or how to identify themselves. That when the government make a presentment, it is a form of a contract, and you have a choice if you want to participate in it or not. And when they start overstepping their power to put it in a format to where it seems like they're forcing you to contract with them, you must know what to do to shut that down. And a citizen or a person that is operating as if you are the straw man cannot do that because you're under the jurisdiction of that corporate government. You must take yourself outside of their jurisdiction, outside of their stronghold. Because when I was reading the document in the Library of Congress, it was using words like capture. If this is an identification program that is supposed to be voluntary, what are you capturing? Who are you capturing? What is the process of this identification card? What is on the form that you have to fill out? Does this form have me putting on my proper nationality? Or is this form like all the other forms where it has black African, black African American? You know what I mean? These type of things. Anytime you see anything with African American, anytime you see anything with Afro Caribbean, anytime you see anything with black African American, descendant of African, none of that, none of that is pertaining to you whom are here in the Americas. Just like how the Cowboys and the Indians are one and the same people, you understand? And when you go back to the oldest form of a cowboy, they're showing a melanated man. When they go back to seeing the oldest form of an Indian, they're showing the melanated man. You understand? So, if the oldest form of the cowboy is the melanated man, the oldest form of the Indian is the melanated man. The cowboy and the Indian both come from the same land. You understand? And you are not Black African. You are not African American. You are not descendants of African. You are the descendants of those Indians and cowboys. The cowboy and the Indian is one and the same. The people of the Western Hemisphere, the melanated man and woman of the Western Hemisphere, you are the descendants of the First Nations people of these lands. No one took you from across the world and brought you here. You were already here. And what has been going on throughout generations is that they had to trick you to identify into something that has nothing to do with this land, right? through contracts, through the music, through movies, the entertainment industry on an overall whole. When you're stepping into these courtrooms, you must know what to do. When you're being approached by these officers, you must know what to do. A lot of the brothers and sisters who are in prison, especially for non-violent incidences, where that officer's typing in your information and then they type in black in the system, that is a RICO. You hear them talk about RICO, RICO, RICO? Well, RICO, 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 Ricky Ricardo, RICO, RICO. That is a RICO on that officer that typed in black. That is paper genocide. He killed you to create a fictitious entity so that they can store you in their lockbox, so that they can store you in their privatized prison. Because the United States Corporation, the Jamaica Corporation, which is a branch of the United States Corporation, have no jurisdiction over the Indian. And before let me just say this before I pass it back over to our brother here, to show you how the education of our people is so messed up. Zamaka, or what some would say Yamahe or Shamaika, corporate term Jamaica. Your passport has the two Indians on the front of it to identify who your ancestors are. And you let the whole Marcus Garvey movement, which was adopted by Rastafarianism, right? Start mainstreaming and educate you that you are descendant. Even Garvey himself never been to Africa, that you are descendants of Africans. And you have never checked into that. These people have done this because they have a contract with the corporate government for incentives, commission, money, to trick you out of who you are, even though on your passport, the two Indian of who your ancestors are is right there. They literally call you West Indians. Or they'll say Indo-Caribbean. On applications, when you see Indo-Caribbean, that means Indian. When you see Indo-American, that means Indian. You go back and look up what the oldest Indo people look like. All over the world, it's dark-skinned people. Okay? Now, when you fast forward to today's time, you're going to see light-skinned and pale-skinned people. They have, some of these people also have your blood in them. So you are them and they are you, because they are off and from you. You understand? So now this is where we're also trotting a very thin line when it comes to particulars. But know that the melanated man and woman, you are the heirs, the first heirs of the first ancestors of these Americas. And just like what you see them do over there in Africa, how they divided up Africa, they have what, South, North, West Africa, then they say, and the Middle East. But the whole entire Middle East is Africa. So over here they have North, South, Central America, then they say Canada, they said and Canada, and then they say and the Caribbean. Why? When all of that is America. You have to show these people up with the stories that they told you. Remember they gave you the Columbus story? Well, when Columbus discovered America, as they say, and I want people to use their brain, the proper mindset, the brain that the Most High Creator has given you, right? It is right there in front of you. They told you Columbus discovered America. How many of you actually looked into the Columbus story and see what were the 4 places in America that Columbus stopped at? And you're going to see it's Haiti, right? Or what they call it? They call Haiti what? Quisqueya, the Puerto Rico, Jamaica, Cuba, and then he sailed past Dominica. Okay, never stopped at Dominica, but he sailed past it. And they said that he named it Dominica or Saint Dominique. Those four places. Why is this important? Because the brothers and sisters of the mainland, the brothers and sisters of the South and the Deep South, the Midwest, the brothers and sisters that call themselves Cherokee and all these things, those people of the Caribbean and those islands, those four main islands that they said Columbus visited and said that that's him discovering America. Those people are your people. Those people are descendants of your ancestors. Your ancestors are our ancestors. And what has happened over time is that your very first invaders, which are the Africans, the Moors of Spain are Africans. Those are the Africans that conquered Spain. When they conquered Spain, they came up with the notion and the idea to use the banner of Spain to come over into the Americas and conquer the Americas. And then they teamed with different nations to separate you from your land. But in order to separate you from the land, they must separate your mind from the land. Okay? And once the mind is separated from the land, the soul, will no longer identify with the very soil from which you sprung from. You will always claim a foreign source, a foreign entity. And then they created their contractual system. First, one of the oldest documents is the Papal Bull. You understand? That's one of the oldest contracts out there. So understand, people, what has been going on for decades, generations. Okay? All right, brother, go ahead. Arawak?
Yes. Absolutely, man. Yeah, yeah. Hit the nail. I was preaching, brother. I was preaching. Good sermon. I was just um in the audience and sitting there and taking in the blessings, But yeah, um, as far as what you were saying about the passport and our ancestors on it, absolutely correct. Um, you look at passport, make a passport at Jamaica coat of arms. You absolutely see two what you call two indigenous people, or what you call two Arawak Indian. Um, you have older versions that don't have the Queen's helmet on it, meaning that's the form of the coat of arms is without the Queen's helmet on it. Right, to my but it clearly depicts, right? And mind you, that's the only passport I've seen in this hemisphere that have two natives standing up on the front of it. To clearly two melanated people, two carbonated people standing up on that on front of that passport. And you mean to tell me that if I come here, these United States, so to speak, and you're gonna see two indigenous people on the front of my passport, or the passport that was given to me by a corporation called Jamaica. You mean to tell me if I do present this passport, you can see clearly that I'm indigenous? How is it that I have two depicting Indians on the front of that passport, and you're gonna call me an immigrant? How that work? The very passport that I have two indigenous people on the front of it. So how the hell you calling me an immigrant? Right now, anybody can go clearly now and go look at the Jamaica coat of arms on the part in front of it and tell me which other country or which other region over the Americas right now have 2 indigenous people on the front of the passport, depicting like that. You come and tell me where other whites have that, okay? I remember the islands was the groundbreaking, the test lab for colonization at first, because remember, what happened was after we have our disastrous past, these entities or people decide they're gonna come over this side to take advantage of the destruction that took place, right? So, you depicting that we are the original people to this day on the passport that you gave us, the Jamaica Corporation gave us to represent ourselves. And I have 2 indigenous people on the front of it, who my ancestors are, that predates the Jamaica Corporation, right? And predates the United States Corporation, and predates the Canadian Corporation, right? Because that coat of arms predates all that. And you look at me and call me, how disrespectful. You calling an indigenous man on his own, standing up on his own piece, ancestral lands, immigrant, and you come and give me the disrespectful, attitude. And not only that, you teach the people who I am related to, and these men hate me, and those are my sisters. Okay? And you teach them that we're different. We know different. We clearly, the passport speaks for itself. However, self-identity is key, people. Whether or not the passport have 2 indigenous people on it or not, which is clearly self-explanatory, we as a people responsibility to develop our own identification system for our tribal communities, reestablish our tribal communities, and make it operational at least, because the law is on our side, right? The law is always on our side when it comes to developing our own tribal societies and our tribal constructs, just for tribal affairs. So the solution is, because we know we try to hear the problems. We just need to have solutions now. So one of the solutions is we create our own identification system, which is ordained by law, even by their own law. It is 100% lawful and legal, if you want that sense. Because if you read their own statutes and codes, it clearly tells you that tribal people are tribal law is absolutely outside of their law, and they have no jurisdiction over what we say or what we decide to do with our lives, right? Of course, we must understand that they're under occupation since a long time, right? Whereas our people have been severely suppressed, with the church being one of the number one weaponry used against us. This vicarious behavior we develop that's not natural of us, which we know from within, from deep within, we're connected to source. Now, speaking outside of self and attaching yourself to something outside of you that have nothing to do with the concept of who you are as a being is totally ludicrous. Okay, so back to the book now. The book is pretty much a pathway or a guide to, help the algorithm self-correct, because it's an algorithm that needs correction for the most part. People have it's just identity crisis situation going on, and we must realize that all along what's going on is an identity crisis, right? We are faced with a severe identity crisis, as far as knowing how to stand and speak for yourself on behalf of your family, or behalf of your clients, or whatever you call it, in your community, your district. Because all these things belong to us regardless of what you call it. But at the end of the day, we must address it in the proper perspective of coming from a tribal standpoint, so we can actually help to direct how the society will um, engage with how our dealings as far as commerce, economics, school, infrastructure, all these key things that make our everyday lives a bit more easy and comfortable. The amenities that we all should be privy to. So the book pretty much is just a sequel from the previous version, just Tools of a Freeman, Volume 1. And if you put them hand in hand, they complement each other. The first one more so speaks on it more so speaks on how to assert your rights in terms of correcting the vital statistics. The vital. This word vital is very key, you know, because from that vital record, you derive your ethnicity from in there. So pretty much, volume one just is like a stepping stone into going that direction of you coming off the age of majority or the age of discretion. You have to be once you become aware of once you're aware of the mistake, you bring the solution, which is proper uh, communication with these entities that assume and presume that they hold some type of jurisdiction over your vessel, which is the vessel, the organic vessel, which is your body, which is what the soul is swimming through. But they use the papal, which is the paper. That's what they call the papal bull. It's the papal. They use magic of some sort, witchcraft in the form of using documentation, paperwork, all these things. So two-dimensional witchcraft to control the five senses, right? By capturing us, so to speak, or they put it, capturing your essence, capturing your equity, your sweat equity, and compressing it into nothing but words. But you're an organic being who freely can move over, but they compress what they do is you start to compress or restrict your movement as a free sentient being, but it should only come here to develop one spiritual soul so he could move on to a higher plane of existence. But they feel like it's their uh, obligation or duty to contract your rights away into their trust or their so-called offshore accounts. They feel like it's their duty to contract your rights away, um, with you not knowing or being fully aware of what you are signing on to or what you're into. So basically, these books just give me an eye opener of how to conduct oneself when approaching such a situation. So the volumes are there. I probably work on release in volume 3 next year. Not sure what if I'm gonna do it next year or the year after. I don't know. It depends on what the spiritual aspect of my life direct me to do. I'm just working with the Most High right now. You know what I'm saying? So the Most High is all I you is my guide and my shield and my beacon. The Most High within I. Not without I, within I. So yeah, as far as developing our own institutions, this is just a stepping stone in that direction of really and repeating the problems that have nothing to do with our the education part of it first, which education is not more than a repetitive type of thing in terms of keep it so many times until it becomes automatic and autonomous, and you can actually be practical and apply these things, and it actually work in your real life, real time, so to speak, presence. It's a navigation. It's a tool to navigate through the chaos, so to speak. So uh, you could go ahead and check out volume one as well. If you haven't get the book as yet, I suggest you get volume one before you get volume two. Uh, the thing with volume one, it's the door, it's the pathway to volume two. If you know what I'm saying. So without volume one, it's not that you can't learn from volume two as much as how you learn from volume one, but it's like a balance. So it's best to have both volumes. And in the near future, you know, we work tirelessly because as American Arts nation is a tribal nation, a tribal society, actually functioning tribal society. Um, we actually have our own identification system that identify our tribal members. And now we're developing our institute, learning institute, which is geared towards the education of our younger people and getting them the right tools to develop what we need to develop as a tribal, as a ethnic city, our ethnic group, our nation of people who just desire freedom and desire to be left alone and desire to govern themselves according to our own principles, our own customs, and not by what they create outside of the Most High. So this is pretty much what the volumes are about in terms of balancing your mindset, getting you kind of grounded more and not be afraid to express who you are. So this is our contribution to society as a nation, as a people. But we need to be the change that we want to see. So as a people, on the behalf of the people of the African Arts Nation, the learning is for developing the youth, developing them and putting them back in balance as far as connecting and their tribal ethnicity and the original, the true religion, which is what they would call animism, because they call us they call our religion animism, but it's not that we are animals. We're connected to the animals, and the animals are connected to us, and we know that we are bred from the Most High, and we are one with the Most High, and everything is connected through divine. It's a conduit of divinity. So basically, the discussion of the book and identifying correctly and correcting the record as how, because they made a mistake, so you're obligated to correct it because they're not going to do it for you. So the presumptions is when you have presumption, that's when you know you never correct the mistake. All right, so you got to go correct it. So there's no presumption. It's only fact and truth. Okay, so go ahead, brother Diamond. Anything else to say? Um,
Yeah.
Deacon.
Contracts. The spiritual aspects of contracts. When you do wrong to someone, and you know that karma is going to come back at you, right? But they put out contracts out there for the means of no karma to come back at them. Because once you go and you're signing documents, you're signing paperwork, and you're taking out these ID cards and these gym memberships, these things, and you have those things, and you're using their social security number, you're opening up this bank account, that bank account, and you're using the social, and you're using these constructs. Those are all contracts, right? Now, mind you, they're not obligated to, like he was saying, correct the record. It is for you to come into the knowledge and correct the record yourself. Because you've signed certain contracts, karma has avoided a lot of these people until you can put it out there in the universe that these people purposely misled you and not give you full disclosure of what it is that you are getting into and what it is that is going on with you in these contracts. Okay. If you don't put them on the spot, if you don't call them out, you don't put them on blast, there's no karma coming back to them. None. Um, our brother mentioned that we have our own, identification system. Even I used um, my affidavit of self-identity and my tribal ID to have it registered within the Amazon system. Okay, we all don't have the millions of dollars to go out there and buy hundreds of thousands of acres of land and say, let us bring all these people on there and build and so on and so. So, like you, like I, we have to go out and we have to work. Can't let people tell us, no, don't go work no 9 to 5, don't go do none of this. At the end of the day, you still have to buy food, you still have to buy clothing. Our community, our infrastructure is not that strong where we are all united together like that, where we can come together and build with each other. You understand? So we are going to have to go out there and work these 9 to 5s. But while we are doing these things, we must make sure that these jobs have us down as our rightful nationality, because that is important. You got folks out there that you have the corporation, they tax you on your paychecks. Say some of you probably make $600 a week. And after taxes, that 600 comes down to four something, damn near 350. You understand what I'm saying? Because they tax that straw man, which is an entity under their jurisdiction. Now you are supposed to go and correct that and let them know you are indigenous. You are not the straw man, but you are what would you say, brother? The executor, the administrator for the straw man. You understand? So now when you correct the record and you let the IRS know and you let your job know with the correction of record, no taxes is supposed to come out of your check. Okay? None whatsoever. This is important because when there's no taxes coming out of your check, now you can save and build and come together with other individuals that are doing the same thing and create a community. Now you can put that money together. Okay, because we all ain't going to go back and show some old deed or some documentation, some paperwork, and say, "Hey, you built this Amazon on top of my ancestral grave, my ancestors' graveyard, and on top of where our homes and this, and you know what I mean." Everyone is not going to have that. So you're going to have to. Some of us is going to have to buy back lands little by little, and then put it underneath our trust that we create as indigenous, the original indigenous people of the land, and protect these lands underneath our trust documentations, our paperwork. And these volumes are going to give you information on how to go about learning these type of paperwork, these documentations. You understand? Because remember, you are the heirs of the very first folks that sprung from this land. You, us, we are their descendants. No man can come and tell you who you are unless you sit there and allow him to do so. Okay? And in life, there comes a time where some of you have to wake up. And I mentioned Kanye, and again, I'm going to mention him again. He's waking up. Even though he played that part, that role in their society for years. Even though you see Kyrie Irving plays basketball in the NBA and he signed their contracts. At some point, there is something with the soul where enough is enough. You understand? And the soul starts to wake up. And the mind starts letting you know that you can't continue um promoting and glorifying these same people that are tearing down the people of which you came from. Okay? Even though he says yes, the he I don't pay attention to the religious aspects of what he's saying. I pay attention to the part of when he's saying we should come together and build, elevate each other, where we should come together as a people, that we don't need the corporation, that we don't need this as long as we stick together. We are the number one consumers in the world and the lowest rate of investors. We need to start investing into each other. We are not doing that. People took more time out to bash him than to say, damn, Gap is turning their back on him. Adidas is turning their back on him. Skechers, TJ Maxx, all these places. But what do these places have in common? The very same people that he's exposing to you are the very same people who are CEOs of those companies. And he's putting you onto game as to what is going on if you are looking to go contract with these people, what to look out for. He's putting you onto game that the same way how they started is the same way you could start if you have a strong community and we stick together. People spent more time bashing this man, praising to see his downfall. But when you look at the structure of his company, in the hierarchy of his company, it's people that look like us. It is people that looks like us. You understand? So, the very same folks who have created the straw man system, who have created the stock market or corrupted the stock market system where the straw man is now traded back and forth on the stock market, and they're making money off of your soul, your energy, because every day you put energy into that fictional character. Your birth certificate days don't say Mr. Jones. Your birth certificate don't say Mr. Thomas. It doesn't say a Mr. on it. You understand? Your proper name is not an all capital name. Your last name is your first name. What do I mean by that? Family first, bloodline first. So your family name always comes first before any and everything. And these people are taking away your name and turning you into a corporate entity, into a business that they contractually control because you signed documents giving them power of attorney over your persons, your artificial person. But the artificial and the natural is attached when you are locked into their court system, when they trick you to go into their judicial system, into their jurisdiction. Because when they take a hold of the straw man on paper, they need you to go down into their facility in the physical. And then hence they kidnap the body. Which is why in the NIDS documentations it says it uses the word capture. Understand this, people. So even though you hear Kanye saying Christian and Christian and Christian, key word, he still goes back to saying also the word Yahshua. You understand? Because Jesus wasn't a Christian, he's Jewish. So he's still a person that look like he's still learning. But we don't pay attention to the religious aspect of things. We're spiritual people. So you people could say, oh, well, he's trying to start a cult. He could only start a cult if you are going in there with that cult mindset. The man has not told you that he's starting a cult. The man is telling you, if you come together as creative people, if you come together as the innovators, the motivators of this generation and of the generations before and the generations that are to come, if you come together with your talent, is nothing anyone can say or do to stop you from rising. That is what he's saying. He's not telling you to come be a Christian. You understand? That's not what he's telling you. He's telling you step your game up and get your business portfolio together and create communities as melanated people where we can have a strong foundation. So when these 1%ers say we're pulling the rug from underneath you, that this foundation that you created amongst each other is strong enough to withstand that. That won't even be a storm on the weather scale for you. It won't even be a bump in the road. It will be a little bug that you walk over and step on and squash on your way to wherever you want to go. Because at the end of the day, they need you. You don't need them. They need your land. They need your culture. They need your approval on their fashion. Because if Negroes didn't wear Armani and Gucci and these type of things and promote it in the hood and all these type of stuff, they wouldn't make the amount of money that they're making today. If you weren't the ones wearing Nike sneakers and Adidas sneakers, they wouldn't make the amount of money that they make. Remember, Run DMC made Adidas. They wouldn't be making the amount of money that they are making today. Okay? If you don't come up with a new word today and tomorrow, their vocabulary will be very limited. If you don't come up with a new dance craze, their dancing will be very limited. You don't need them. They need you. They will always need you. So don't look at this man as he's a coon, he's a sellout. How did he sell you out? Did he bring you to a slave market? Or he's just very vocal? He knows how to stir up controversy to keep the attention on himself so that he can get a message that he wants to get across to you as long as the cameras are there. When he said George Bush don't like black people, how many of y'all went and backed this man up? A lot of our people didn't back him up. We just said, "Oh shit, can't believe he said that. He really said that." You understand? When he was putting millions of dollars into the Black Lives Matter thing, but now he woke up. People started paying more attention when he said white lives matter. Life is a life. Life matters. That at the end of the day, when you go tear down the basic simplicity of these things, life matter. A bug's life matter. A dog's life matter. A cat's life matter. We all have a role to play here in this physical world. You understand? But he said that to stir up controversy. He said that to keep the cameras on him so he could give you the message and let you know, look, everything that these other YouTuber platforms have been saying for years about the 1%ers and they controlling the media and all these things is true. Everything about these celebrity sacrifices and these things, it's true. He got that message across, and a lot of people ignored it. He came out of the contracts with these people when he changed his name from Kanye West to Ye. Now imagine if he was equipped with this information that we know. You understand? It's time for you to wake up. It's time for you to stop backfighting on each other. It's time for you to stop promoting and supporting these folks, especially these old school Negroes that was pushing drugs and all sorts of stuff, robbing, killing, and raping in our communities, and cheering for them to come home so we could glorify them and put them on a goddamn pedestal. What? It's time for us to stop being the end of the butt end of a joke. It's time for us to stop being the joke. It's time for us to start checking each other, checking the young folks and even the older folks within our communities, checking ourselves when we get out of pocket. We have to start carrying ourselves at a high standard and stop allowing ignorance. Start checking these musicians that are promoting particular lifestyle when most of them don't even live it. And the ones that do live it, they're not even saying, hey, yeah, you know, I went through this and that, and this is what I grew up seeing. That's not how they're pushing it in their songs. They're pushing it like telling your kids, yeah, if this nigga step on your shoe, go out there and shoot him in the face. So what this man is telling you is stop that. This man is telling you that he ain't sing no songs about killing none of our people and these things. You understand? This man is telling you that they can't shut him up because they don't have nothing on him, that he's a killer, that he's a rapist. It's nothing they have on him. He's letting you know that the other people of your complexion, of your you, who are within the same business, right? Who are in the same business, that they don't speak up because they have dirt on these people. These people are killers. These people are pedophiles, like we've been saying for years. These people have committed lewd acts behind closed doors and got videotaped. You understand? But he has nothing to hide. Because if you go back to his documentary, you see that he built himself from the Rockefeller didn't build him. And this is what he's trying to show you. Stay away from their contracts. Come together as a people and start building each other up. Unity. Even if we have differences, unity is key. Without that, you ain't going anywhere. And what's going to happen is the small amount of us that think like us here, we're going to figure out ways of how to come together. And again, it starts from the home, like I've always been saying for years. You must educate your children and your children's children, and so on and so on. It starts from the home and those children. And then you build the infrastructures, the schools, the workplace, the marketplaces. Once you build the schools and you have those children that you've been educating at home now is in schools that we've built, that we control the education of how of what they are educated on. You understand? This is how now you create an impact amongst generations to come. Because now they're going to know the true history. They're going to know the true knowledge of contracts. They're going to know the true knowledge of nationality, self-identification. They're going to know these things, and they will be empowered. And there ain't no force in the world that's going to be able to stop them. Because once you awaken the mind and take the mind to another level, on a higher education type level, you're awakening the energy, the entity of the God within them, which is what their oppositions have spent generations trying to squash, trying to kill, trying to cut down. But we must first learn to check ourselves before we could check anything else outside of ourselves. And that's just facts. You understand? All right, with that being said, I say much love to everybody, man. Sister Cherokee Tulu, Mama Red, Brother IMQ, Brother Lacono, the entire ICCC, everyone that's in the chat, everyone that tuned in. Much love and respect to you all. No man is an island. You understand? You have no body part on you that is detached from your body. So think of us coming together as the body. If your arm wasn't attached, if your right and your left arm wasn't attached to your body, how would you pick stuff up? You understand? We are each other's arms and legs and fingers. When we come together, we create that body. We are the body of people. We are we the people. Get back to self, man. Elevate and start bringing back your higher self. Because low vibrational people is not going to get it done. They're going to get you what I came and I caught a family member of mine's in my kitchen, bending over and twerking, singing that they F Negro free. And when they popped up and they saw that I saw them, they started censoring even their words. Now it went from being F nigger free to like that. You see what I'm saying? You have to check yourself. I didn't check her. She checked herself. You understand? There has to be a standard of which and where we are to carry ourselves. Period. We don't have the luxury of going out there and acting ignorant and acting a fool and think that we are privileged to get away with these things. We are not. We gave up so much power to colonial forces that we have these colonial forces running our everyday activities. Wake up before it's too late. All the tricks that they did to you. They opened up the floodgates of the borders and had all these people flood in here. That is not you. Right? I came to Jersey the other day and I'm going up into they call it Phillipsburg and Somerset and these areas. And all I see is all those people that flooded in across the border. Yeah? You go into these warehouses that are just finished being built, and all you see are these people. These warehouses are built in the communities that is majority you, but you're not working in none of them. You're not in them. You understand? You are being cleansed economically, spiritually, educationally, and through documentations. You have groups like the whole Taino organization, because that's what they are. They're an organization. They are not a tribe. They are not a nationality. That, through the backing of George Soros's money, go back almost damn near 20 years of information that they have contaminated and threw in the word Taino next to the word Arawak. But they could never contaminate the information going back to the 16, 15, 14, 1300s with those books that don't mention a lick of them because Taino never existed. And this is the paper genocide that the corporation does. And you see how long ago I mentioned that they've been doing this? Almost 30 years, probably even longer. So these people are well dedicated into eradicating, and they do it so smooth because they keep you distracted. I'm not paying attention to the takeoff murder. You understand? I watch one or two videos of Charleston White. I don't watch all his shit. I don't pay attention to those shenanigans because when you're over there paying attention to these folks here, when you're over there paying attention to the all the things that's going on in the mainstream, you're missing the fact that you're being replaced. I watched a video of a Chinese family, damn near 3 to 4 generations of them. They live in Jamaica, and they've not once mated or mixed with any of the folks on the island, but they speak the language and they're claiming to be that of the people of the island. Okay, so if they are that, then who are you? If they are claiming to be the original people of that island, then are you? You're being replaced. This is where you're supposed to come out and check them and tell them no, you're Chinese. China is your homeland. You can speak my language 10 million times over. It doesn't erase your lineage. The Coolie people that identifies as East Indian, even though they are not, they're in the islands. They're all through the Americas, identifying as people of the Americas. No, you are not. You're Coolie people from the East. The land of where the East Indians are, which is the Sentinel Island and the Jarawa people. You understand? We are the only set of people that's saying, yeah, well, if they want to identify as that, let them do it. Not knowing that you're killing yourself. You're killing your children. They're claiming eminent domain on you, and you're giving you away. Wake up, people. Volume 1 and Volume 2 of Just Tools of a Free Man is that. Tools that you need to operate within this world, to correct a lot of the wrongs. Don't buckle, don't falter. They will use threat, they will use intimidation, they will use everything at their power to deter you. But you must not give up. You must not buckle. You must not show fear. Okay? If you're nervous, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with being nervous. It just means that you're alive. You understand? You could be nervous, but if you back down, then that's fear. We must come together. And it starts from within the home. It starts from within your home. You hear me? If you're building a business, and say a lot of us, when we're building businesses, we like to take on that friend and that family member that we know ain't going to do the work, that we know is going to sabotage a whole bunch of stuff. And because they're a family member or probably they're a childhood friend, we don't want to tell them, nah, you can't be a part of this. But you're going to have to. You're going to have to. That person's going to have to go their way to get their shit together. You can't let someone mooch off of you because they're a friend and family and they don't want to put in the work. You understand? But yeah. With that being said, man, I say, much honor and respect to you all. May the rest of your day go well and the rest of your week, go well. And, just, may the Most High, guide and protect all the righteous brothers and sisters out there. Right? The ones who mean well and have good hearts. Okay? I yield my time back to our brother.
Yes, yes, yes. That was a good discussion indeed. Absolutely wonderful discussion. I want to say special thanks to the viewers, the subscribers. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for sharing the channel with other people as well. So the wider society could know that we are about the people and helping the people and the development of our people. That's all we are about, pretty much. We want to see we bring it home, take it home and develop our own infrastructures and not be scared to do it. Don't let nobody deter you from developing your own infrastructure within your home and coming together as a people, right? The Kanye West thing as well. What you need to understand with the Kanye West situation. How many of you know that Kanye West is the power of attorney over his child? Upon the birth certificate that for his child, he's the power, his name, power of attorney over his child. Now ask yourself, what is a power of attorney? Very important term, right? Um, so you all need to do your research, and as I said in Just Tools of a Freeman, Volume 2, the definition of a power of attorney is right within the document. So these are key things and key terms you all need to grasp and comprehend very well. So while you're marking this character called Kanye West, it's just a character to me. At the end of the day, even though it's a character and it's still acting out what is actually real life, and it's demonstrating to you that you need to think for yourself, whether it's a character or not, whether it's a he or a she. I don't know. We don't know whether it's a performance or not, whether it's a scripted performance or not. At the end of the day, it's what you could gain from it, so you could ascend of the mind, and you could go to a higher spiritual plane, and not be trapped in a one-dimensional palpable. Okay, so this discussion is very much needed. I know it's been a while. I have a lot going on. Of course, passing off my wife passed away and all of that. So, I'm just healing and working on myself pretty much. So, I'm more away from the media lately because I got to heal. Once we got that motion outside of us, we can't escape it. No matter what we do, we could act tough all we want, but it gets to you when you least expect it. So, you know, as far as everything going, healing is pretty. It's painful, but it got to be done. So, uh, I just giving thanks to all who tune in today. I said much appreciation for everyone who got Volume One, supported the nation. You know what I'm saying? And I want to say a special, you know, big ups to Cherokee Talu. She gave us some very, wise words, so we can actually think and tap in our own powers. So I want to say give thanks to the sister, for being there through the thick and the thin. So yeah, big up to everyone else. ICCC, Mama Red, everyone who tune in on this live. Lacona, big up yourself, Copper. Af- And I need you people to go over on those channels and subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. The Copper, the Lacona Empire, Copper Hot Step, the ICCC, very important um, channels, because what they bring to the table is that as people who are descendants of West Indians, or the Western Indians, or the American Indians, or the Amerindians, as what they call it, um, this where they're at now in that particular time and place is very important for our history and a part of our identity as well, because we have a connection, a strong connection with over that side of the world as well. So I don't think we're just here in the Americas, we're actually everywhere, right? We actually have claims to a lot of estates worldwide. Of course, we are all displaced and misplaced and re-identified and all these things. But before all of these things occurred, we had empires, we had proper established school system, we have universities, we had technology. You know, we are very remarkable people. So the thing is, they're being over on the European side of things, and they're expressing who they are from the Americas. It's very important for our people to see these things in this time, especially that even on the other side of the world, the descendants of the Americas, the first Americans, they're actually there and they're expressing, and they're not afraid to get back to their roots. They're not afraid to tell who they are, which is very important. You know, I find that very important and very particular and very, intricate, because what happened with a lot of our people, because they got moved around, they lost the sense of identity because they got misplaced. But for them to be where they're at and still showing the gratitude to the ancestry, it's remarkable, and actually playing a key role in the development of our people while they're being there over that side. But that side is actually our side too, collectively. Europe too, because we own stuff over Europe as well. We own stuff because a lot of our artifacts you find in Europe, statues and things you see are in Germany and for our people over there. So it's very important that you realize that how vast and wide your jurisdiction was. Okay? All right, still is. You just don't know it. So I want to say big up to the ICCC, man, because it's very important that they show the children over that side that it's important to know who they are, and also on this side as well. So I want to say special thanks to the people who checking on me every now and then, checking on the nation, checking on how we're developing, giving thanks to everything. So they call to the Thanksgiving where we giving thanks, We just turn it around and give thanks to the Most High. Because every day we give thanks. Every day is our giving thanks. We just give thanks every day. We don't just take one day to give thanks. Every day, all week, all month, we give thanks. So special big up to everyone who supported us, and the support and see the vision of what we're trying to do, develop something for our children's children, so they have something to hold on to, because they doing the Blanca mean to the eugenics program very hard and deeply on our levels. So we have to be absolutely ready and prepared and have a backup plan in place so we can at least have something left to cling to when the storm, pass over us and everything gets reshuffled and chaotic. But yeah, I just want to say, go ahead and get the Just Tools of a Free Man. I'll leave links in the description, volume 1 and 2. We're also working on a picture book as well for the children. That will be coming out soon. Them a picture book, just for the children, imagery and stuff, painting, because we have a lot of talent within the Learning Institute, so we're trying to put it to the forefront so the children can have an opportunity to, get a part of the culture, as far as we being creative people and knowing that they can do it as believing in themselves as well. So I just want to say special thanks to all who helped during the previous and now. So thank you all for tuning in. I'm going to wrap it up now. This was just for informational purposes, educational purposes, of course. And we wasn't giving you any tax advice, any legal advice. There was no legal or tax advice given. It was only our suggestion and our opinions on the matters that affect us spiritually and physically. But yeah, I want to say special thanks to all who tune in, and go ahead. Don't be scared. You get the volume 1 and the volume 2. If you get the volume 1 already, get the volume 2 and spread the love. Hopefully, we can use this funding and develop our tribal customs in terms of getting certain things in place, like certain materials, certain infrastructure, certain, improve our identification system and all these things, because this is what we're trying to really accomplish here. Something, the reciprocation, we want to use it for our development. It's not just receiving and not doing anything and transmuting that energy, because we really want to use. This is why we're giving something out for something, because we don't want it to seem as if we just selling packages and all these things are selling snake oil. We really want to let it be known that we just trying to help develop or guide the people to the right path of knowing who they are and not being afraid to express it, and not being afraid to function as such, or not being afraid to go out there and say, hey, I am an Indian or indigenous, not being afraid to get employed as an indigenous man or a woman because of your own development, because the ANGIP or the AGIP clearly speak of we as a people who need to develop our culture, and there's nothing or no one that should stop us from doing it, because the law is on our side. We have the right to self-identify, the right to develop our people, develop our culture, develop our communities. Whether it's by means of getting a 9 to 5, right? That's a part of the development. You develop in your household first, and then you develop your community. Okay, so Scotty, big up yourself. Thanks for tuning in. But yes, as far as the playing field of our people, our culture, we need to take it serious and move forward with it. Okay, move forward with what we are saying. You got to be the change that you want to see. You gotta be what you say what you be. Okay, you don't just say it and you're not actually demonstrating what you are saying. It's not going to help us. No, in no form or shape. Saying the things is beautiful, but actually doing it, that's a whole nother level of, you understand. So I just want to say, big up to everyone who tuned in, and thank you. Go ahead and get Just Tools of a Free Man, Volume 1, Volume 2. Links will be in the description. Amazon, Kindle, and paperback available, all right? So you could get the Kindle version, and then you could get the paperback. It's up to you. This option is there. Read it to your children. Let the children know what's going on. And yeah, pretty much that's it. But yeah, I want to say special thanks to everyone. All right, brother Dom, everything to close out with.
No. That's you pretty much said it all. We'll just give thanks to everyone that has shared and supported the information. Everyone that has given their input in on the information. To everyone that has even started a platform to put the information out there, right? Because this is what we support. We ask that more of our people, especially the younger generation, start creating platforms to start getting the message out there. Try to give the information as uncorrupted as possible as you can. If you're giving the information, do it with in good standing, right? Don't corrupt the information. Don't put your personal feelings into the information. These things, let the information just speak for itself. So we just encourage that more platforms are created and put out there. More podcasts are created and put out there. More websites are created, and put out there. And each one teach one. And again, all the brothers and sisters throughout the years. Yeah, we've been doing this for a good amount of years now. I give all my love and thanks to you guys. If it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't even be here right now. We've come under many attacks. We have platforms taken down. We've had our numbers and comments sabotaged. We've had many things, strikes. We have hundreds of videos taken down and deleted. And, you guys stuck with us. So we give thanks to you guys also. Again, also to Sister Cherokee Tolu, to the ICCC, you brothers and sisters have been a strong cornerstone to what has been going on here. You guys have uplifted and helped many of our people, whether you know it or not. So when we are saying here, let's bring out more platforms, let's have more teachers, more people come out there and share the information and educate our people. These brothers and sisters here are the core of what we're speaking on, right? We have it's just many platforms that is out there. Even Curry Mayo's platform. You know what I mean? Like it's a lot of us, man. And we might differ in opinion on some of the information, but at the core value of the information, we stand on the same ground, on the same footing. You understand? And it's just for truth to come out, truth to be told, to give back a people whose identity has been and is being stolen from them in front of our faces every single day for us to understand who we are. So, I give thanks to all the warriors out there, to all the platforms out there that are doing their thing. Whether you like me or not, or whether I like you or not, that makes no difference. That means nothing to me. What matters to me is the fact that you're putting the information out there. For the platforms who are putting it out there uncorrupted. Okay? Uncorrupted. The platforms who are not, and the brothers and sisters who are not afraid of correction, if they do put something out there and it's not correct, then other platforms have information that can improve on top of the information that you have, and don't argue or fuss or fight with them. They come to a table at the meeting of the minds, and they actually talk, hold a conversation. You see what I'm saying? So with that being said, man, I say peace, love, light, honor to you all, and much love to everybody. Peace.
All right, people. Thank you again. All right. Peace out.